Welcome to the program. My name is Munene. We begin with that sad incident. The bell to signify the end of classes at the KAKAMEGA primary school has resulted to the death of 13 pupils after a stampede ensued. The pupils succumbed to injuries sustained during the incident, with 5 others in critical conditions. Reports indicated 2 other pupils may have been taken to the ICU at the KAKAMEGA County Teaching and Referral Hospital, with 100 others nursing serious injuries. Confirming the incident, KAKAMEGA Central OCPD David Kabena said 39 were injured and 20 treated and discharged, even as parents continue camping at the hospital, with fears more pupils may have succumbed to the injuries. Quite a sad incident there. Our hearts go out to the families of those affected. Now, still on matters education, the Ministry of Education has called upon courts to refrain from issuing orders that sanction operation of schools that the government has declared unsafe for learning. Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha says the courts have been undermining government's bid to ensure learning centers are safe and conducive for learning.
Magoha's sentiments comes following the High Court move, which gave a green light to the reopening of St. Charles Motego Primary School in Dagoretti constituency. A tuition block at St. Charles Motego Primary School collapsed last year, prompting safety concerns in schools among education stakeholders. It was declared unsafe for learners and later shut down until the management meets safety standards recommended by the government.
It is very regrettable indeed that certain magistrates are giving court orders, and I would want to cite one in the situation. The name is St. Charles Motego Primary School. St. Charles Motego Primary School is in Dagoretti, very near where we had a catastrophe last year. There was a court order that this school be reopened, and it was reopened. I would like the magistrate who gave that court order to re-examine it urgently, because that building has already collapsed. We are just lucky that there were no children in that building.
And now Magoha asked the Inspector General of Police to ensure the school does not resume operations until the management meets the safety standards, while urging the magistrate that issued the orders to withdraw the order.
And going forward, I want to appeal to my very good friend, Honorable Chief Justice David Maraga, that he should perhaps kindly, I am not qualified to advise him, but I am pleading with him, that he should kindly ask his judicial officers to visit the schools before they give judicial orders, which definitely endanger the lives of our children. And I would like to state very categorically that I will not take responsibility for a judicial officer who endangers the lives of children.
The CS said the government will not allow learning to proceed in uncertified centers in bid to guarantee the safety of teachers and learners for meaningful learning.
The law enforcement officers to ensure that that school is not open until such time that it meets the minimum requirements of the Ministry of Education and by extension the government of Kenya.
The CS was speaking at Kaptemba slums in Nakuru West constituency this morning, where he was on a fact-finding mission on the status of transition to secondary schools among children in the area. He rated the 100% transition to secondary school program at 96%, saying in the coming weeks the country will achieve the desired 100%.
As I speak, we are at 96% countrywide. Our target is to reach 100% by Friday. We have already gotten 34 children. 10 of them are being admitted to this school where we are speaking from. And I want to thank the headmaster who says he can arrange for them to be admitted immediately. Some of them are so poor that they cannot afford uniform.
He said the program is gaining traction across the country with sustained multi-agency collaboration. Busara Naman for Ebru TV.
Away from that now, 3 people quarantined after arriving in the country from China have tested negative for the deadly coronavirus. In a statement to newsrooms, the Ministry of Health says the 2 who were quarantined at the Kenyatta National Hospital and another at the Coast General Hospital in Mombasa were given a clean bill of health after their blood samples tested negative.
The 3 suspected to have the coronavirus jetted into the country from China and Dubai, respectively, last week. The Ministry of Health says in part, and I quote, "Following their identification, the 3 were isolated and appropriate samples collected for tests. Their primary results are negative." End of quote. The ministry added that additional tests will be conducted in South Africa, noting that the government has put up stringent measures to prevent the importation of the virus into the country. The first suspected case that was under surveillance in isolation facility at Kenyatta National Hospital was also cleared, with further confirmation from tests in South Africa. The widespread of the virus has forced the World Health Organization to declare the coronavirus a global emergency, with special focus on countries that have no health capacities to deal with the outbreak.
We don't know what sort of damage this virus could do if it were to spread in a country with a weaker health system. We must act now to help countries prepare for that possibility. For all of these reasons, I'm declaring a public health emergency of international concern over the global outbreak of novel coronavirus.
With countries moving fast in preventing the spread of the virus even further, Kenyans have been advised to avoid non-essential travel to China and those traveling from the affected countries, especially from China, to cooperate with health officials.
Who have traveled to China in the last 2 weeks. The incubation period of this condition is 2 weeks. Present yourself. It costs you nothing other than just being sure of your status.
Meanwhile, the ministry reiterated its advisory to members of the public to remain vigilant and to maintain basic hygiene, safe food practices, and avoid close contact with people suffering from acute respiratory infections. Also, people showing symptoms of respiratory illnesses such as fever, coughing, difficulty in breathing, and sneezing with a history of recent travel to China have been advised to go to the nearest health facility for assessment and prompt management. So far, more than 300 people in China have died and more than 11,800 others infected. Winnie Lubembe for Ebru TV.
Well, now moving on, area chiefs have been urged to play their critical role in helping the Ministry of Education achieve its 100% transition policy in the country. Coast Regional Commissioner John Elungata has directed chiefs and their assistants in Tana River County to identify children who have been unable to report to secondary schools and assist them.
Speaking during a stakeholders forum at Hola City Hotel, Elungata directed the grassroots administrators to ensure that all school-going age children reported to school before the end of the month. He said the local administrators should stand firm on the issue of education, noting that children have a right to basic education regardless of the economic status of their parents.
So, kwa mambo ya transition, I just want to say this. Kwamba Tana River, we have fallen way below expectation. Way below expectation. Last year we never had this challenge. This year we have. We cannot be at 46%. We cannot. Hatuwezi kuwa. Watu wetu ni wachache.
The administrator, who was accompanied by the newly posted Regional Director of Education, Hussein Osman, disclosed that 1,614 children who did their KCPE exams in 2019 had not reported to school by the end of January 2020. Following this, Elungata directed all the grassroots administrators in the region to trace all Class 8 candidates in 2019 who failed to join Form 1 this year.
Tana River here where we are, 533. Where are those kids? Sini hao watoto tunakutana nao barabarani hapa. Our population is small, our population centers are known, our villages are known. Machief mnaishi kwa hizi villages. Hao watoto wako wapi? Why are they not in school? The president said the other day, kama itafika end of February na watoto bado wako nyumbani in a certain jurisdiction, yule mtu yuko in charge atakwenda nyumbani.
At the same time, Elungata urged the public to give information to the police on criminals who are responsible for insecurity and causing fear in the communities. He said modern policing requires the support of the general public towards the protection of lives and properties.
We now have a very active patrol, a very active escort service between Gamba and Lamu. A very active, very robust escort service. And we expect that to be the same thing on this highway between Minjila to Madogo. Even if it's not the same at the same level, there has to be a vehicle patrolling that highway. What are we all doing? Let's patrol that highway so that nobody thinks contraband,
Elungata was accompanied by Regional Police Commander Rashid Yakub, Tana River County Commissioner Oningoi Olesusio, and the newly posted Regional Director of Education, Hussein Osman. Busara Naman for Elbro TV.
Now, the Kenya Films and Classification Board has launched a crackdown on public service vehicles, which it says are notorious for playing morally offensive content. Through its executive director, Dr. Ezekiel Mutua, the board says that public service vehicles from Langata, Mbagathi, Limuru Road, Thika Road and Jogoo Road are the most notorious for playing pornographic content. The board has also flagged a number of radio stations which it claims are notorious for airing offensive adult content before the watershed hours.
The matatu sector in Kenya has had a culture of playing music and music videos, and to many, this is what identifies the matatu sector in the East African community and Africa at large. However, the Kenya Film Classification Board thinks otherwise of the trend. Addressing on the notorious trends by most matatus, the KFCB chair Ezekiel Mutua has singled out that there has been numerous reports of pornographic content and music displayed to the members of the public who seek service from the matatus.
The Kenya Film Classification Board has received numerous complaints about public service vehicles, PSVs, that are exhibiting inappropriate and unrated film content in contravention of Section 12 of the Films and Stage Plays Act, Cap 222.
To end the trend of the alleged content that has been cited not to be good, especially to children and parents, Mutua has declared a crackdown as from tomorrow.
I'll be on the ground myself, and you'll be surprised. I don't want to mention the other big people who are going to be with us in those vehicles. We are going to declare a week that we are going to be using, including the Minister for Interior and coordination of national government, to ensure that we bring this to an end where we will all use those vehicles and monitor.
Media stations, especially radio stations such as Classic 105, Kiss 100, Radio Jumbo, among others, have also been warned of airing adult content and mostly played on matatus, especially the morning hours.
Most of them defy the watershed period principle, and they bring adult content in the morning. And it's very embarrassing even when parents are driving their kids to school to be switching on those channels or those radio stations, because they are likely to, from the blues, say something that will be offensive. To be on the safe side, no bus carrying school children should be on Kiss 100. We are not against Kiss 100, but just switch off for adults.
Taken to the streets, if Kenyans were ready for the crackdown, majority had this to say.
Mimi support hiyo juu mimi ni mzazi na niko na watoto. Wanapoingia kwa ile gari, zile picha wanaona pale sikuwa mzuri. Saa ingine mmekaa pale na mzazi sio mzuri, kwa hiyo pia kuna ile kitu inajengwa ndani ya yule mtoto. Kwa hivyo inamfutia kutenda madhambi na kuharibu maisha yake.
Nairobi ndio kitu tunajulikana nayo, graffiti sawa, loud music sawa, hiyo ndio culture yetu yani. Nairobi is a colorful place yani, na ni place ya watu kujibamba yani. Mwenye alisema muziki ni dawa, sio eti alikozea. Yeye kwa wakati wake atafanya yake, lakini hatuwezi kuzima ngoma unless aue wanamuziki wote.
Some of the routes placed at the mark of being notorious of playing pornographic content include Langata, Mbagathi, Jogoo Road, Rungai, Limuru and Thika Road. Mutua has also further appealed to the members of the public to report public vehicles that don't comply with the policy by submitting the number plate, the circle, and if possible, evidence of the clip that was aired. Matatu owners who fail to comply risk a jail term of 5 years or a fine of 100,000 Kenya shillings. Pornographic content and loud music in matatus in the public transport sector has been for some time now depicted as a nuisance. While to add to this problem, the Kenya Classification Board has cited to start a crackdown to end it. Milia Kisenya for Ebru TV.
Well, thank you, Milia Kisienya, for that. President Uhuru Kenyatta and ODM leader Raila Odinga jetted out of the country to attend the 68th U.S. National Prayer Breakfast meeting, where they are also expected to share their handshake story and the Building Bridges initiative. The invite, which comes even as the bridge which has found its way to Washington is causing a stir back home, seemingly doing anything but its intended purpose of uniting the country.
The Building Bridges initiative, born out of the March 9, 2018 handshake, is gaining traction both home and abroad, with the invite by the U.S. Congress being its latest endorsement. The BBI and its report, which is shaking off the hands of anyone opposing it at home, will be the main menu at the International Lunch, a connected event slated for Wednesday and Thursday this week, where President Kenyatta and Raila Odinga are expected to outline details of their unity pact, which has been touted as the epitome of good democratic characteristic. But even as the unity pact continues to wow the world, the same cannot be said on its situation back home.
Raila Amolo Odinga ambaye ni baba. Leo wamekuja wametuambia baba ni baba. Lakini sijesikia wakiomba msamaha baba wakati walimuita muganga.
The invite coming on the backdrop of the latest BBI meeting in Kitui, where Gatundu South MP Moses Kuria, seen to be against the handshake between Uhuru and Raila, was disgraced when he attempted to access the meeting.
Nobody will abuse Mheshimiwa Rais Uhuru Kenyatta na aingie kwa mkutano wangu. Hakuna. Atolewe.
The net effect of the political rift borne by the BBI is that it has left Kenyans divided more than ever before along political and tribal lines. Led by their representatives, governors, MPs, MCAs, women reps, Kenyans have leaned on either side based on the direction given by their leaders. The political mood triggered before and after the release of the BBI report is also likely to stall Jubilee Party's Big Four agenda, owing to the fact that the party itself is divided on which way to go on the document, whether it be a referendum or the parliamentary way. The Washington, D.C. meeting will bring together over 2,000 international guests, including political and business leaders, the U.S. Congress, diplomats, and religious leaders.
Now, still on matters politics, President Uhuru Kenyatta is fighting back to regain his political backyard and stem rebellion from MPs in Mount Kenya, who are claiming that the president has not done enough in the region, especially on matters to do with agriculture. Members of the Voice of Nyeri initiative note that divisions in the region are frustrating the president's agenda of boosting the economic well-being of Kenyans. Have a look.
For weeks now, President Uhuru Kenyatta has been transversing the central region in a bid to revive the belief that he still cares for the region. Leaders from the region have been criticizing the president in regards to the agriculture sector in the region, but according to his allies, this notion is threatening to make him a lame duck president 3 years before the end of his term. Members of the Voice of Nyeri initiative said absence of unity will halt development projects pledged by the leaders to the electorate. Now it seems some of the president's allies have come out to his defense.
Na ile watu wakisema tunaendelea njia hii, watu wengine wanasema tunaelekea njia hii, sisi tunataka njia moja. Na ile njia moja tunataka ni ya presidenti wetu Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta.
Led by their chairman, Peter Mahinda, the members noted that divisions were frustrating the realization of President Uhuru Kenyatta's Big Four agenda aimed at boosting the economic well-being of Kenyans.
Bila kutaka maneno ingine na tuuge serikali ya Jubilee mkono ndio tuweze kutimisha ile ahadi tuliagiza watu wakati tulikuwa nasimama.
Leaders from the region who are not allied to the president have continued to maintain that the head of state must address issues that are ailing the region, sentiments that has seen several leaders make their sentiments heard one way or another. MPs from the region have also pledged their allegiance to Deputy President William Ruto, breeding disquiet among a section of leaders over the intensity of the DP's political activities.
Well, now moving on, Malawi's Constitutional Court has nullified the results of last year's presidential election, citing widespread systematic and grave irregularities, including the significant use of correction fluid to alter the outcome. The two leading opposition candidates had challenged the narrow election win of President Peter Mutharika, alleging that irregularities affected over 1.4 million of the total 5.1 million votes cast. Now, the judges have ordered a new presidential election to be held within 150 days. Months of sometimes deadly unrest followed the announcement of the election results. The president and the Electoral Commission acknowledged some irregularities but argued they were insufficient to affect the election's outcome. Of course, that has just happened about an hour ago. Back home, a section of Ukambani political leaders now want Kitui County Governor Charity Ngilu to explain about the expenditure of 12 million shillings allocated for the organization and mobilization of the recent consultative Building Bridges initiative rally over the weekend. The remarks by the two leaders come even as Team Tanga Tanga, allied to Deputy President William Ruto, organizes for another mega BBI rally in Nakuru this weekend. Our political affairs reporter Jeff Haemba with more details on that.
A controversy has now rocked the Raila Odinga-led BBI weekend rallies over the use of the public resources. The recent Kitui meeting, spearheaded by Governor Charity Ngilu, has raised questions on how 12 million Kenyan shillings was used to organize and mobilize the people in one-day event.
And I'm just asking questions. I'm not saying it. I'm just asking, Madam Governor, were you given 12 million shillings? How did you spend it? Those are very simple, basic questions.
Politicians across the country have been holding the public participation drives that they say are aimed at educating the people on the contents of the report. Ukambani leaders led by Kitui Senator Enoch Wambua and Kitui Central Member of Parliament Makalumulo claims the governor cannot account for the money which most governors are battling out in organizing for the BBI rallies.
She has told us that she has been appointed the regional coordinator for the BBI in Lower Eastern. And so she has been funded. When she was contacted, she said she doesn't have money. She only had 5.6 million shillings. And so she would not involve members of parliament in the mobilization.
So the figure is known. What we are saying is, can it be accounted so that we know how it was spent?
Wambua and Makale claims to be part of the team who organized for the Kitui meeting and says it will be improper to loot public resources. Earlier on, Deputy President William Ruto hinted that the Raila Odinga-led camp are using public resources to hold forums to discuss the BBI issues, which is against the law. The leaders also took a swipe at Governor Charity Ngilu over threats to eject the Gatundu South Member of Parliament Moses Kuria out of the rally over claims of causing fracas.
So what happened is very unfortunate. We just wanted to confirm that it was not part of the planning. We are saying we apologize to Moses Kuria and more so as an individual because I was hosting that forum in my constituency.
We want the public to know that Governor Ngilu did not act for or on behalf of the people of Kitui County, Makueni County, or Machakos County. Our remarks were personal, and she must be held personally responsible for our own unfortunate utterances.
However, a nominated Member of Parliament Godfrey Osotsi defended Charity Ngilu, saying Moses Kuria should be the one to blame for instigating fracas.
Lakini huyu mwingine yeye akaanza kuzomeana na wale vijana pale nyuma na anaonyesha ishara za kutaka kupigana na wale vijana. Ndio kwa maana tulikuwa na hiyo furugu. Na sasa hiyo furugu kidogo iliweza kutatiza ile resolution viongozi wa Ukambani walikuwa wanasoma kupitia kwa gavana wa Makueni.
chaos and confusion marred the BBI rally in Kitui when Kuria was harassed by a team of the bouncers hired to provide security at the event, where Governor Charity Ngilo ordered for the eviction of the legislator.
Kama muungi mkono BBI, mukue waziwazi na Wakenya. Mseme hamuungi mkono BBI, na sasa tujue tuna ile group ambaye inaunga mkono na tuna ile group ambaye iungi mkono.
Each and every political leader is using all the avenues to popularize the BBI, with the Tangatanga team allied to the Deputy President William Ruto and now set for theirs this weekend.
Wale wanaenda wakisema mkutano wetu imeahirishwa, hao ni watu wanapiga kelele ambaye haiko, kwa sababu tumefuata sheria zote za serikali. Na ukiweza kuangalia hii ni nini? Hii ni permit. Stadium tarehe 8. Shalipia? Tumejipanga.
The Bahati Member of Parliament Ngunjiri Wamboko says all is set for the mega rally, which shall be attended by various political leaders. The Tangatanga Members of Parliament says they plan to hold rallies across the country.
Unajua ile shida tuko naye ni nyinyi watu wa media. Kwa sababu sasa unasema rais amesema ni mkutano moja. Gani? Mkutano moja ni gani? Hajasema ya ODM ndio mkutano ile inafanywa, alisema mkutano kila pahali inafanywa, kila group wanafanya hao.
BBI rallies in the country have now been turned into business ventures, where each and every government is now trying as much as possible to hold a rally, at least to get a lion's share from the national government. Reporting for Ebro TV, I'm Jeff Haimba.
Well, thank you, Jeff Haimba, for that. Now, remain on the BBI bit. The clergy has urged political leaders to tone down political rhetoric in the ongoing regional BBI forums and instead focus on the most important civic education aspect of the BBI report. Metro Church International leader Dr. Mike Brown has further condemned acts of violence that have been meted on politicians with a dissenting opinion on the national discourse, saying such actions do not reflect the ultimate goal of the dialogue.
The clergy now wants leaders to unite and engage members of the public on the dialogue with decorum and sobriety for conclusive talks ahead of the implementation of the task force report for a united country and an inclusive government.
Lazima tutulize hali ya hewa ya nchi ya Kenya. Tafadhali, hata kama uelewani na mtu, mpe nafasi, kwa sababu tunajua vile Kenya huwa. Leo uelewani na mtu, kesho unaelewana na mtu. Ikiwa utanitusi leo, kesho ikifika utasema nini wakati umeelewana na mimi?
Dr. Brown's sentiments come against a backdrop of unsettling reports of people using the forums to profile others and even political scores.
Tafadhali tutulie.
The ejection of Gatundu South legislator Moses Kuria from the BBI forum in Kitui over the weekend and other reports of some elected leaders being booed at earlier forums are recent incidents. It is reported that Kuria got angry and threw unkind words to the president after missing a seat, thereby triggering the scuffle.
Nobody will abuse Mheshimiwa Rais Uhuru Kenyatta na aingie kwa mkutano wangu. Hakuna. Hakuna. Atolewe. 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 Atolewe.
Na nyinyi wabunge, mheshimuni rais. Hakuna mbunge mwenye kichwa timamu utamtukana mkuu ambaye ni amiri jeshi mkuu wa taifa lolote. Wewe kama baba usikubali watu wengine watumie, wale ambao wakubaliani na wewe wafukuzwe. Watu wanatumia jina lako vibaya.
The clergy fears that if the acts are untamed, they augur ill for the forums that are meant to be inclusive and premised on democratic principles. Further, Dr. Brown cautions the political leadership against using the forums to polarize the country. Instead, he wants the elected leaders to use the platforms to inform the citizenry on the common benefits that the task force report promises.
Naomba viongozi wawe katika BBI ama hata wale pengine wanapinga, tushirikiane. Tunataka Kenya moja. Hatutapata Kenya moja kwa njia ya matusi. Kwa hivyo leo ninapinga matusi, ninakemea roho za watu hata kushikwa.
He was speaking during a music festival at Metro Church in Nakuru, where he asked citizens to patiently await distribution of the task force report, read and understand it, and make informed preferences when the time comes. The cleric further challenged religious institutions and the civil society to play a leading role in the BBI forums with a view of helping the ordinary citizen understand and participate in the national discourse. Contents of the BBI task force report have lately divided public opinion, even as concerns about adequate access to the report itself continue to mount among those attending and participating in the forums. The BBI forums have since been in Kakamega, Mombasa and Kitui counties. Meru and Nakuru counties are raiding their platforms for the forums this week amid cautious optimism.
Now, the implementation of the competence-based curriculum for grade 4 pupils is proving to be difficult in private schools in Elgeyo Marakwet County due to lack of equipment needed to enable them to facilitate the curriculum. According to Christopher Cheboboch, the chairperson of the Association of Local Private Schools in the county, the private schools do not have books and other important materials required for curriculum and cannot access them in shops as well. Apart from lack of books and materials needed, they have been forced to employ more teachers given the many additional subjects that need to be covered. They are now calling on the government to supply books to private schools as well as for all students to have equal learning experience as instructed by the Ministry of Education.
Sisi kama mashule za binafsi we are CBC compliant, but tungeomba, na I think also it's our right. I think it's our right kwamba education is free, lakini sasa kwa CBC we don't get books, more so we in private sector, and we are calling upon the Ministry of Education, as Mr. Makoa, please, if you think you don't want to keep out these textbooks the way you are keeping out in public schools, you are leaving private schools, just bring it is private so as we will buy, so as it will be the same textbooks, so as we quote the same part. Otherwise we are struggling. You go to bookshop, we don't get those CBC books.
Now, the arrest of 9 suspects on July 2018 over the death of 48 people in Solai, Nakuru was marked with drama and emotions by tens of sleuths who were literally armed to the teeth. The suspects were arraigned in court amid tight security, with the office of the DPP demanding that they be held in custody as they were a major threat to the victims of the Solai Dam tragedy. 18 months down the line, the case has collapsed just like the House of Cards, with the Naivasha court now acquitting the 9 due to failure by the ODPP to prosecute the case.
What started as a highly publicized case ended with the state officials walking out of court in shame, the victims shedding tears of pain, and the suspects smiling and hugging after months of tense waiting. Outside the court, the victims, led by John Goge, who lost his wife during the tragedy, blamed the DPP for the continued suffering.
Haki itendeke. Tunaomba serikali yetu ifanye haki itendeke. Mwadhiriwa pia ana haki. Wastakiwa wana haki. So huwezi kuchukua haki utupe pande moja alafu tupe haki ya yule mwingine. Sisi zote tuko na haki.
And as Naivasha Chief Magistrate Kennedy Bidali dismissed the case, the court and the victims were pointing an accusing finger to the ODPP for the collapse of the case. On her part, another victim, Veronica Wanjiko, said the ruling caught them by surprise, adding that the only way forward for them was prayers.
Inatufiriwa namna gani na hatujapata haki yetu, na ni kitu inajulikana ni dunia mzima. Hiyo sio ati ya kisinisini, dunia mzima inajua hata ng'ambo. Inatufiriwa namna gani na tumeteseka. Tumeteseka. Sasa tutasaidiwa na nani tukiwa serikali ya Kenya haiwezi kutusaidia? Hata kama ni mijingine wasikie kweli kesi, kama wangekuwa tu wanaona wasikie hiyo kesi vile inaenda na wanajua vile tuliadhirika, watashukua namna gani? Watashukua Kenya hii namna gani?
Hapa ninaona DPP anauza waadhiriwa. Kwa nini haki ya waadhiriwa haiwezi kuchukuliwa kwa kijumla na kuuzwa na mtu mmoja?
The magistrate lay the blame squarely on the office of the State Council, noting that months since the case started, little progress had been made, with adjournments being the order of the day. Lawyer Benson Balongo for the victims said that they would be appealing against the ruling in the High Court.
Basically, the court has given a ruling with the effect that the accused persons have since been acquitted, the effect of which that the case before them has now, the case against them has been discontinued. Now, well, as counsels for the victims, we take issue with that ruling in the fact that, one, the number of applications made before the court, specifically one on that representation, has not been handled yet.
The other 8 suspects are Vinod J. Kumar, Johnson Juguna, Luka Kipyegen, Winnie Muthoni, Jacinta Were, Tomkin Odo Othiambo, Willis Omondi, and Lynette Cheruiyot. Reporting for Ebru TV, I'm Kaindo Stefano.
From Nakuru County, we head to the county of Kitui, where police intercepted a Garissa-bound bus at Ngutani area along Thika Garissa Highway, ferrying contraband goods worth millions of shillings. The PSV bus from Wamo Bus Company was nabbed with goods ranging from 286 tons of powder milk, special chewing gums, 49 cartons, and medicine in form of tablets.
The driver of the bus alongside his conductor have so far been arrested and are helping the police with investigations as they wait to be taken to court, where they will be charged with transporting goods without proper documentation. The vehicle has been detained at Mwingi Police Station.
Our officers who are on roadblock along Garissa Thika Road at Nkutani Police Station intercepted a PSP bus from Wamo Classic Bus Company, and the bus was carrying contraband goods. Various goods were discovered.
The arrest comes just few weeks after another bus from the same company was intercepted with aliens. However, the aliens disappeared in the blues after the police colluded with them to escape.
And we are seeing that this bus company, Wamo, has been involved in series of illegal activities. The last time the same company bus was intercepted carrying aliens from northern part of the country to Nairobi. At this time round, the same bus company has been intercepted carrying contraband goods.
The officers who are alleged to have paved way for the aliens are under internal disciplinary action by the police force. This according to Kitui County Police Commander.
I'm calling on all police officers along our roads that any vehicle belonging to the Wambo Classic Bus Company be intercepted, because we are not going to allow this business to continue in our roads. We want the owners to get it clear that his company will be registered very soon. We are now applying to the NTSA to take further action.
According to Mr. Tanui, the bus has been designed to hide very illegal goods without being noticed by the police. The police commander said that the owner has been asked to come with authentic documents, failure to which the goods risk being destroyed.
Well, you're watching Ebru Prime Time News. It's 38 minutes past the hour. Time now for a very short break. We'll be back with more news that made headlines today. Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Farmers in Mwingi region in Kitui County are still counting losses after their farms were invaded by a swarm of locusts, which have been migrating from one farm to another, causing massive destruction of crops. The swarm of locusts feeding on any green plant with a preferable taste of the acacia trees family first entered Kitui at Kaningo area in Kitui County through Kora Game Reserve and have so far spread out widely, currently causing destruction at Momoni and Tagishu sub-counties.
Hizi ningie zilikuja Wednesday jioni. Kutoka hapo sikalala juu ya miti. jioni ndio zikaamkia kuingia kwa shamba na zimekula sana na zimeleta hasara mingi sana. Nilikuwa tunatarajia kufuna, sasa hatutafuna.
The locusts have left many farmers angered as no government agency has so far said anything concerning compensation to the farmers. Esther Paul, a farmer from Nguni in Mwingi East sub-county, says her 20-acre farm has been completely destroyed by the locusts and urged the government to facilitate compensation the loss farmers have incurred.
Kumeisha kwa jamba, hakuna kitu hata nini, kila kitu imekuliwa. Ndengu, mbosho na vitu hata ziwezi sema, ni ile uchungu niko nayo mimi.
John Mutemi, a village elder at Tia Kamuthale location in Momoni sub-county, said that within his village all farms have been destroyed by locusts and farmers have been left devastated.
Jamba iko na chakula, kuchakuliwa yote njana. Na iko mingi sana katika area hii. Hata inakubia huko na ingine watu kuba iko hai. Na sasa tunauliza serikali ikuye isaidie watu wote wale iko pande hii.
Mutemi pointed out that some locusts seem to be dying after aerial spraying by the national government, but some more are still alive and are ruining more and more farms. Kalunda Mudhui from Tia Kamuthale has called on the government to immediately intervene and compensate farmers accordingly.
Walikula ndengu, wakakula nzoko, wakakula pia mbombo, wakakula pia nzoo, mahindi wakafahamia. Sasa hata hatujui tufanye nini, sijui. Hiyo ndengu ndio tulikuwa tufune, tuende tuuze, tumalize karo yenye tumebakisha.
Following change of pesticides by the national government to a more effective chemical, some noticeable change has, however, been noted, with some desert locusts being captured on camera dead for the first time in 3 weeks. Initially, the government used a chemical which had no immediate knockdown on locusts to spray. The original one would kill the insect between 1 to 72 hours, something which never happened, prompting to change the chemical sprayed. Winnie Lubembe for Ebri TV.
Now to business, Chinese stock and commodity markets fell heavily on Monday, that is today, as the death toll from the coronavirus epidemic in China rose to 361 and investors retreated into safe havens assets in the first trading session after an extended Lunar New Year break. Markets plunged at the open in their first session since January 23rd, when the outbreak of the newly identified virus had claimed only 17 lives in Wuhan city, the epicenter of the outbreak in Hubei province.
Since then, the flu-like virus has been declared a global emergency and spread to more than 24 other countries and regions, with the first death outside China reported on Sunday, that of a 44-year-old Chinese man who died in the Philippines after traveling from Wuhan. The National Health Commission said the number of deaths in China rose to 361 as of Sunday, up 57 from the previous day. The number of new confirmed infections in China rose by 2,829, bringing the total to 17,205. The Shanghai Composite Index shed 8% to hit one-year low on Monday, wiping almost $370 billion of the market value, according to Reuters calculations. The yuan began trade onshore at its weakest level this year. Iron, oil and copper traded in Shanghai all dropped by their daily limits, catching up with the global price falls as the spread of the virus has weighed on the world's growth outlook. Investors were bracing for volatility when onshore trade in Chinese stocks, bonds, yuan and commodities resumed following a steep global sell-down on fears about the impact of the virus on the world's second biggest economy. Looking to head off panic, Chinese central bank injected 1.2 trillion yuan, equivalent to $173.8 billion of liquidity into the market via reverse report operations on Monday. At least another 171 cases have been reported in more than 24 other countries and regions, including the United States, Japan, Thailand, Hong Kong and Britain. The World Health Organization has declared the outbreak a public health emergency of international concern, but said global trade and travel restrictions are not needed. State media said a hospital built in just 8 days to treat people with the virus in Wuhan will begin to take patients on Monday. The hospital called Hushen Shan or Fire God Mountain will have 1,000 beds. More than 7,500 workers took part in the project, launched on January 25th and finished this weekend. China is building a second hospital in Wuhan with 1,600 beds by the name Lishan Shan or Thunder God Mountain and is scheduled to be complete on February 5th. Reporting for Ebru TV, I'm Kaindo Stefano.
Well, time now for the latest in the world of sports. Welcome. Now, Football Kenya Federation FKF has commenced the process of conducting repeat branch and national polls before the March 30th deadline set by the World Football Governing Body, FIFA. The new 8-member electoral board that was adopted during the FKF special general meeting last week was unveiled today and is ready to conduct the fresh exercise.
We want to assure the country that we are taking this process very, very seriously. And we want to ensure that it's going to be a transparent and very, very open process. We want to show the country that it is possible to do things right. And so I'm expecting that everybody who cares for football in this country is going to do what is right. And all the procedures that must be carried out must lead to that 30th of March. But most important, we are focused on the true stakeholders of football.
Well, more than 20 ladies golfers from all over the world will battle on the challenging par 72 course for the top spot for this year's Magical Kenya Ladies Open. The tournament will take place from 12th to 15th November on Vipingo Ridge's Baobab course, the only PGA-accredited golf course on the African continent. The golfers will be attempting to take the crown from 2019's winner Esther Enseleit from Germany, who, in an exciting twist to the leaderboard in December, beat three-day frontrunner Julia Engstrom in the final round.
Yeah. Congratulations. Well done. Yeah. And thank you very much for coming. Yeah.